customary full house on hand at Quest Field as the Oakland Raiders come to town to take on the Seahawks. Second year in a row that these two teams have closed the preseason schedule. And here come the Seahawks. Good evening, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Warren Moon. So glad you could be with us for this really significant final preseason game of the summer. Warren, last week Mike Holmgren told us he wanted two things: pass protection, aggressive defense. He got them both.
You're right, Vern. He wanted a much better effort by his football team on last Saturday night. I think he...
Paul Sylvie with Mike Holmgren.
Mike, I know this is the worst part of your job is making cuts, but you've got some tough position battles out there.
You know, Paul, we do. Linebacker position,
And they are tough decisions, Warren.
They really are, and especially this, you really get accustomed to knowing these guys, and you've been with them since March, and all of a sudden here it is August, and you got to make these tough cuts because you don't want to let go of any of these guys. You've gotten a chance to know them all. They've worked really hard for you in training camp. You want to see them all make the football team, and unfortunately that just won't happen.
Well, the cut comes over the weekend from 75 to 53. So a lot of jobs on the line. Ed Hockley is our referee tonight, and he has just flipped a coin. The Oakland Raiders have won the toss. Oakland coming in with a 2-1 preseason record. Among the things they have unsettled, kind of ironic at this point of the year, is the starting quarterback.
Right, and that's something you want to have settled by this point in the preseason. You know, Dante Culpepper still trying to make a strong bid for that position. Josh McCown will get the start tonight, and he's the guy that started most of the preseason, so we'll have to see. They didn't bring in Dante just to sit on the bench.
Jamarcus Russell, the #1 draft pick in the NFL last year, still unsigned. It's a matter of the guaranteed bonus money, according to Al Davis. And so Josh McCown will get the start tonight. Andrew Walter is the third quarterback, and time now for what has become a beloved tradition here at Quest. Chris Carr, number 23, is the deep man. He takes it at the 5. Heads right, looks for blocking help, and is forced out of bounds. That's a nice return outside the 37-yard line. Pete Hunter made the tackle. Here's Josh McCown in the preseason, 19 of 35. Acquired in a trade with Detroit. Played collegiately for 3 years at SMU and then transferred to Division I AA Sam Houston State down in Huntsville. Lamont Jordan is the running back. He's the only one behind McCown on first down. McCown has a man open all the way inside the Seattle 45-yard line. The catch made by Ron Curry, number 89.
Well, just a little play-action pass here. They're going to get the defense to really suck up, especially those linebackers, and they're going to hit Curry right behind there on a little short slant route. C.J. Wallace comes up and makes the tackle. Otherwise, Ronald Curry, who has great speed, would be off to the races.
C.J. Wallace is getting a start tonight, trying to make this ball club. Here's McCown back, flips it out left side, incomplete. Intended for Jordan. And let's check the rest of this Raider offense up front. Sims, Gallery, Grove, Carlisle, and Green. This is an offensive line that gave up 72 sacks last year. Curry and Porter, Miller in the backfield, Griffith and Jordan. Now Justin Griffith, number 36, is the blocking back. That's Zach Miller, the rookie tight end. Hand off to Jordan. Big hole. He gouged that Seahawk defense and moves it to the 36-yard line. Mike Green makes the tackle. C.J. Wallace and Mike Green are the starters at safeties tonight.
It looked like they had good penetration on the play, but all those guys ran right past the ball carrier, and he's able to run up in there for an 8-yard gain. So now they come up with a 3rd and 2.
3rd down, 2, opening drive of the ball game. Jordan coming left, cuts back right, slips a tackle in the line of scrimmage from Will Herring, number 54, and picks up the first down with a gain of 10. And let's meet the rest of the Seahawk defense.
Darryl Tapp, Virginia Tech.
Marcus Tubbs, Texas.
Craig Terrell, Purdue.
Bryce Fisher, U.S. Air Force Academy.
Will Herring, linebacker, Auburn University.
Nico Kudavides, middle linebacker, Purdue University.
Kevin Bentley, Northwestern.
Pete Hunter, defensive back, Virginia Union University.
Josh Wilson, cornerback, University of Maryland.
Mike Green, strong safety, Northwestern State University.
And on that first down play, Dominic Rhodes, who had spelled Lamont Jordan, gets the carry and runs into Brandon Mebane, number 92. So an impressive drive and not such impressive tackling so far.
Not a great job of tackling, but you got a lot of young players out in the field right now, and I think they're just trying to get their feet wet, not used to starting a game in the National Football League. A lot of these guys out there.
Rhodes is still the running back. Dominic Rhodes. Josh McCown back to throw. Flips it out. And it's caught by Rhodes at the 21-yard line. Nico Kudavides, number 53, makes the tackle.
And that's one of the things Nico does very well. Is he's an aggressive tackler. He's a very good, sure tackler, one of their best special teams players, and always relishes a chance to get on the field to play because we know Lofa Tatupu doesn't like to come out of the game very much. So when Nico gets a chance to play, he tries to make the most of it.
Well, he told us yesterday morning, this is my regular season.
This is his all-star game.
Third down. Blitz coming. McCown reads it. Almost picked off. Pressure from Kudavides. And Josh Wilson was very close to making an interception. Here's Green off the corner.
Yeah, the Green on the corner, and also Nico coming up the middle. All-out blitz by the Seahawks, and they had man-for-man coverage. Josh has had to unload that ball or he gets sacked. He's trying to hit his hot receiver coming across, but he wasn't looking yet. So great job by the Seahawks. Great call by John Marshall on the defensive call.
Tyler Fredrickson will kick the field goal, and he pushes it wide right. That's no way to continue your quest to unseat Sebastian Janikowski. Craig Terrell with a little pressure. Fine drive, comes up empty. No score, 11:47 to go opening quarter. Wallace will get the starting quarterback tonight and might play a considerable amount. Matt Hasselbeck will not see action this evening. And a new right side. You won't recognize a lot of the guys, but Rotto is getting the start at right guard, number 66. Ray Willis at right tackle. Mansfield Rotto out of Georgia Tech, a 3-year defensive lineman with Georgia Tech. First down, Wallace back to throw. Not much pressure, fires it out, it's caught. And Leonard Weaver, for whom, Warren, this is a really big night. Let's meet the rest of the offense.
Sean Locklear, NC State.
Rob Sims, offensive line, The Ohio State University.
Chris Spencer, center, Ole Miss.
Nate Burleson, wide receiver, University of Nevada.
Deion Branch, wide receiver, University of Louisville.
Leonard Stevens, tight end, Howard University.
Leonard Weaver, fullback, Carson and McCollum.
Mo Morris, running back, Oregon.
Leonard Weaver got the carry on first down and picks up a couple on second down, rather. And that will make it third down.
This is a very good Raiders defense that the Seahawks are going against. Some of their regulars aren't playing, like Warren Sapp. I don't see him out there right now. I'm sure they're resting his older body to get ready for the regular season. But Warren seems to be in great shape. He's down about 50 pounds on some new diet he was on in the offseason, and he looks great and had a great year last year, 10 sacks.
At 32 years of age. Didn't get to the Pro Bowl and was irritated. And let everybody know. Here's Wallace dancing right. There's a flag. We may have a holding call defensively. Nate Burleson trying to get loose. Pressure from Thomas Howard. But I think we're going to have a defensive holding call.
And because Seneca was out of the pocket, they might pick this flag up. You never know. It depends on when it happened. If it happened while he was still in the pocket.
Illegal contact, defense number 26. Before the quarterback left the pocket. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So it was before he left the pocket. And that means it is defensive pass interference, which was a great break for the Seahawks because the Raiders had great coverage that time. Seneca had nowhere to go with that football.
Stanford route, number 26.
Yeah, just a little bit too much contact by route, and you just can't do that, and he'll learn from this film.
And so first down at the 35, make it the 36-yard line. Here's the handoff to Mo Morris. Eludes a tackle and picks up a couple of yards. Jay Richardson, number 98. All over that one.
We talk about the right side. Ray Willis playing at right tackle tonight. Also started there last week. They've been wanting to move him into right guard, but he just hasn't had a chance to because of injuries to the offensive line. With Walter Jones not playing, now Sean Locklear has to go over to the right side.
Wallace rolling out, being chased, tipped and incomplete. Nice defensive play by Stuart Schweigert, number 30. And the ball intended for Nate Burleson. That brings up third down.
Again, very good coverage by the Raiders secondary. This was the #1 defense against the pass last year in the NFL. They only averaged 150 yards a game giving up, so they are very good at man-for-man coverage. They get pretty good pressure on the quarterback with both Burgess and also Sapp if he was in there.
Bob Ryan, defensive coordinator. Here's Wallace back, steps up, finds a man open. Deion Branch, fumble. Nope, he's going to be ruled down by contact. With a first down at the Oakland 49 and a gain of 12 yards.
And we saw Deion catch the same pattern last week by Matt Hasselbeck. It almost looked like a carbon copy. He runs down and runs a deep curl route. Ball right on the numbers as he's in front of Fabian Washington on the reception.
So a second first down in this drive across the 50 to the 49-yard line. No score in the game. DJ Hackett is on the field. He goes in the slot to the left side. Ball start.
389, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Leonard Stevens, who is getting the start at tight end tonight. Marcus Pollard will not play. Will Heller, listed as number 2, has been hampered by an injury and is not suited up tonight. But that's where there's a battle going on. Joppru and Stevens.
Right, for that third spot, if they're going to keep 3 tight ends, it'd probably be between Stevens and also Joppru.
First down, 15. Wallace going deep. Burleson, stride for stride with Washington. A little contact and no flag.
Nate Burleson just running a takeoff route. He has great speed going against Washington, who also has great speed. What Seneca has to do is try and keep that ball in the field of play to give Nate Burleson a chance to make a play on that football. This ball, even if he caught it, he probably would have been out of bounds, 1 foot in, maybe 1 foot out. So Seneca's got to do a better job of keeping the ball in the field of play.
Second down and 15. Burleson goes wide to the left side this time. Chris Carr will defend him there. Stevens is tight right. Branch in the slot. And Morris comes out to the right side. Wallace out of the back, crossing pattern underneath. And it's Deion Branch in front of Michael Huff, number 24. Defensively for the Raiders, it's Quentin Moses, the rookie from Georgia, Richardson, Sands, Derek Burgess, as Sapp is not playing. Williams, Morrison, and Howard are the linebackers. Asamoah, Washington, Huff, and Schweigert, the defenders. Third down. 3rd and 13. Wallace being chased from behind. Finds a man open. Mo Morris. And that'll be very close for another first down between the 39 and 40-yard lines.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to not give him such a great spot. It looked like he lunged a little bit further than that to about the 39-yard line, but he's going to be just short of that. So he's probably going to be 6 inches short of this first down. I'm sure they're going to measure here.
He was chased by Gerard Warren, who was just acquired in a trade from the Broncos. Warren woke up one morning and was no longer a starter. It was amazing.
That's the NFL. It's a business.
Fourth down, Seahawks will go for it. Broncos are Warren's former team, and a flag again. False start again. If this is Stevens again, oh,
5-yard penalty, fourth down.
Leonard Stevens better get on the same page. That's 2 penalties on this drive, and you know how Mike Holmgren is about penalties. And right there on a 4.5 yard, now all of a sudden they have to punt it. They won't go for it on 4th and 5, 4th and 6.
I'm just guessing here, but Leonard Stevens probably doesn't want to get anywhere close to Michael.
I'm surprised he ran off the field that close to him.
Johnny Lee Higgins, great speed, awaits the punt from Plaquemire at the 10-yard line. And Higgins will take this one at the 10. He's going to get a lot more than that. Plaquemire can't get there. And Johnny Lee Higgins is on his way. No flags, 90 yards, touchdown.
Now this is a big play for a rookie, and this is how you make the football team in that final preseason game. Higgins just makes one quick move like he's going to go to the outside and comes right back up the middle. It was pretty good coverage as far as the way everybody was spread out, but he found that little hole, came up inside, and once you get to the punter, you usually have him beat. Higgins doing a great job going 90 yards with the punt return. Tyler Fredrickson will kick it.
Well, we were chatting with Josh McCown just before the game started, and he said, you know, this kid, 15, he's got pretty good speed, and he's made some things happen on special teams.
I think that was an understatement, saying he had pretty good speed. That looked like blazing speed out there as he takes that one 90 yards.
He's also a gymnast. In that last couple of minutes, 2 false starts by Leonard Stevens, which the second of which negated an opportunity for a first down play on 4th down, resulted in the punt, and Johnny Lee Higgins takes it 90 yards. Here's Josh Wilson, second-round draft pick out of Maryland. He's got a chance to get a bunch. He's out to the 35-yard line. Marquise Cole makes the stop. It's a 31-yard gain.
And I really like the way Josh Wilson runs the ball up inside when he sees there's a hole.
By the kicking team, number 31. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick return. 5 yards, first down.
Young man who's got his first and last names mixed up. His name is Hiram Eugene. Time is called. First down and 10 from the 40 when we return. Fellow's got a lot of time on his hands.
Too much time.
I think so.
I think he took the day off of work today just to get started on that outfit.
Right. Oh, dear. First and 10 from the 40. 7-0 Raiders lead it on the 90-yard punt return by Johnny Lee Higgins. Wallace inside, too high. Intended for Deion Branch.
That's all that really was just a too high pass, because Deion had the inside advantage on the slant route, and Seneca's just got to put that ball in his numbers, just got to be a little bit more accurate, and they have a completion.
DJ Hackett and Logan Payne come on the field now. Burleson's the wide man. So 4 wides. Logan Payne, the young man out of University of Minnesota, is not going to be a part of the receiving corps here because it's handed off to Maurice Morris. And he is stumped for no gain. It'll be 3rd and 10. Robert Thomas, number 55, made the stop.
Well, Jay Richardson, their right defensive end, got up the field as they're trying to run a stretch play to the left side, and made Mo Morris have to stop and try and retrace his tracks up inside, and that's where the rest of the Raiders' pursuit got to him. But that play has got to be cut off by the defensive end. He's got to be hooked in order for Mo to get to the outside.
3rd and 10. Weaver, this is the role they envisioned for him, is in. He goes in motion, left side, makes the catch, breaks the tackle. That's exactly what they want out of Leonard Weaver this year. But his preseason has been handicapped by a series of mistakes.
Well, he did a great job of catching the football and making one guy miss. That's what you ask running backs to do, make a guy miss and try and get to the flag for the first down. So good job by Leonard Weaver on that play, but he does come up a little short.
And so Plaquemire's on the punt.
The fans are looking at a face mask penalty, possible face mask penalty on that play that was called and missed by the officials.
And this time it's Chris Carr who lets it go over his head, having called for the fair catch at the 10. And so the touchback will bring this one out to the 20. Leonard Weaver, tight end at Carson Newman, injured reserve. He was hurt with a high ankle sprain in this final game last year. And how do you not see that?
Wow, you got one official right there on top of the play, another one right in front of it, so you can't say you had a bad angle.
Gracious. By 7. 3 receivers bunched to the right side. Josh McCown back. That one fired out right side and knocked away by Pete Hunter, 29, who is another of those, a late add to this roster last season, and a fellow who is fighting for a roster spot here. Well, we are joined by number 37, who is going to enjoy the rest of this night, aren't you?
You know what? This is not a bad way to play for a preseason game.
Sean, you feel like you got everything accomplished this preseason you wanted to get accomplished before the regular season starts?
You know what? Yeah, I was really proud of the way our whole team looked the first half of last game. You know, we came out focused and we hit holes hard, and the guys blocked well, so the running game's going to be good to go.
What about yourself personally? You like where you are? You didn't get a lot of carries this preseason, but you really look quick and you look like you're in great condition coming into this season.
Yeah, you know, I don't ever really need a lot when it comes to preseason games. I just do whatever coach thinks that our team needs for our chemistry. You know, but for me, I was ready to go from day one, and I had some great trainers. You know, Joe Gentry came out here from Colorado, and you know, and then of course Mike Clark here with the Seahawks. We put it all together really well, so I had a great off-season program.
Stay with us, Sean. Here's a deep pass as McCown goes down for Johnny Lee Higgins. That's incorrect. Well, you know, it behooves me as the older guy up here in the booth to point out that
not by much.
Happy birthday to you, Sean Alexander.
That's excellent. That's excellent. You know what? This is my first birthday cake actually of the day, so so this is really good.
Just know that life begins at 30.
That's what they say. They say 30 is the new 20. I don't want to go back to 20. I'll just take 30 to be the first 30. You know.
Happy birthday to you, Sean. Have a great year.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right. 2nd down and 10. There's the handoff to Dominic Rhodes, number 33. Mike Green makes the stop, number 42. Nico Kudavides.
And not a good sign. I'm seeing Marcus Tubbs kind of limp off the field. He took a cut block down there, and he got up really slow. Wanted to stay in the ball game, but he's kind of being helped off now. So I hope it's not the knee that he injured where he had the microfracture surgery.
Injured in October of last year, came back last week. Tough moment now. Here's Tubbs taken down, and we'll get a report as soon as we can. 3rd down. Blitz. McCown chased. Gets rid of it. Dead ball. Bring it back before the snap. There was a flag thrown on the far side of the field.
Before the ball was snapped, false start offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, it's 3rd down.
Henderson, the left tackle.
Thank God for this crowd, because if he doesn't jump offside, they had something working over there on that screen to the right side. Seahawks had an all-out blitz on, and they got the ball off, which is what you want against a blitz. You want to be able to run a screen and get it off, because everybody else is running man for man down the field and can't even see the screen. They might have had a long run on that play.
Marcus Tubbs continues to get attention on the sidelines. 3rd down and 10. 4-man rush this time by Seattle. McCown steps up, lets it go. Could have been intercepted. Josh Wilson had a hand on it, number 26. And it'll be 4th down.
Well, good pressure by the Seahawks front forced McCown back up in the pocket, and he just kind of flips that ball and kind of sails on him. I mean, that's something that you don't want to do as a young quarterback is flip that ball.
Here's Tyler Fredrickson doing double duty tonight. Nate Burleson makes the grab and looks for an opening, and is going to be wrestled to a stop at the 26-yard line. John Kondo, the snapper, led the way down. So Tyler, welcome back to Seattle. Mike Holder and the Seahawks trailing by 7. And the offense with a first down. Seneca Wallace expected to see a lot of time tonight. Here's Mo Morris, number 20. Running backs, Alexander, Mo Morris, and Marcus Weeks, the 3 who are still there. We expect to see Weeks get a little action tonight as well.
Yeah, a lot of young guys are going to play tonight. A lot of young guys are going to try and impress not only these coaches on this staff, but coaches all over this league, including the Raiders staff right across the field. Everybody's still being evaluated. There's going to be a lot of roster moves by a lot of teams after this weekend is over.
Second down and 8 with 2:18 to go. Raiders blitz. Wallace inside. He's got a man. Courtney Taylor, 6th-round draft pick. I did not expect him to play. He hasn't played yet this year.
Right. He's only practiced a couple of days this week, but he's back in the lineup and he's making the most of it. They really like him a lot. He got hurt early in the preseason, but he was having a great training camp up until the time he got hurt. And he shows some of his after-the-catch ability on that play.
Young man from Auburn. They seem to have a pipeline down to Auburn University. Here's the handoff right side. And Morris, flags, there are 2 of them. So Taylor with that knee injury.
Holding, offense number 74, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And we've been joined on the sidelines by another of those who's going to enjoy this evening, Leroy Hill. Leroy?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Would you like to have played tonight?
Yeah, I would have liked to got a couple series. I ain't played.
Stay with us. First down play. Here's Wallace going deep. Man coverage left side. Chris Carr is defending, and a flag is thrown. And so that's going to be a penalty at the spot at the 14-yard line. Nate Burleson was the deep man, and Chris Carr is going to get flagged. So that'll give Seattle great position. Give us a sense, Leroy, if you would, just where the Seahawks...
Get to you right after this play, Leroy.
Okay. Here's Seneca Wallace back on first down into the end zone. Tipped and incomplete, intended for DJ Hackett. Well, you know, I was talking to Tim Ruskell before the green.
You know, I think we got a pretty good trio. We can make a lot of plays on the field.
Rest up and get ready for Tampa Bay.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, Leroy. All right. This handoff up the middle. And the ball fumbled and recovered at the 14-yard line. Rob Sims got there.
That's Leonard Weaver putting the ball on the ground again. That's 2 weeks in a row getting the ball out on the ground, and that's not going to make Mike Holmgren very happy. You don't want to turn the ball over at any time, but especially deep down in Raider territory when you're getting ready to score in the red zone. Fortunately, the Seahawks are able to get on that ball, and they're able to come up with third down here.
Well, that's just the kind of thing we were talking about earlier. He shows flashes, and then the mistakes come. On third down. Wallace. That one's tipped and incomplete. Stanford route. Number 26 got there and knocked it away.
Holding, offense number 74. The penalty is declined. Brings up fourth down.
And that's a short field goal effort from Josh Brown. Plaquemire will hold. Rackley will snap it back. This from 33 to get the Seahawks on the board, and Josh Brown knocks it through. So the highlight of the drive was the pass interference call on Chris Cole. He is the deep man, and Josh Brown will kick it off. Touchback. Oh boy, wow. My goodness.
Josh feeling fresh tonight. Especially this summer.
Yeah, you bet. First down and 10. McCown rolling right. And he'll scoot out of bounds in front of Mike Green, number 42. Green out of all of last year. So we have reached the end of the first quarter. 90-yard punt return by Johnny Lee Higgins, a third-round draft pick out of University of Texas El Paso provided the Raiders with the score, and a 33-yard field goal from Josh Brown. Back in a moment. Seattle with a dominance in time of possession, but one special teams play, margin of difference. Here's McCown. Oh, beautiful pass. That's for Michael Williams, number 17, the one-time All-American at Southern Cal. That's a gain of 25 yards.
Looks like Mike Williams has slimmed down a little bit. He seems to be quicker coming off the ball. He had a nice release on Josh Wilson that time, and a beautifully thrown ball by Josh McCown right over his shoulder. Mike Williams with a lot of size at 6'5". It looks like he's trimmed down to probably about 220, 225 pounds.
Which would lead you to believe he had a little bit to lose.
Yes, he did. One of his problems coming into the league was his weight. He just didn't have the quickness to get off the line of scrimmage against some of the better corners in the NFL. And I'm sure he's learned from that, being a first-round draft pick of the Detroit Lions a few years ago. Getting that second chance, sometimes that second chance makes you do a lot of things right.
Second down. Mike Williams on the Oakland bench. Travis Taylor is in now, in motion. Corner blitz, and nice play. Josh Wilson was coming on the blitz and turned around and made the tackle on the run.
Yeah, he almost overran this play. He runs up the field from the right side of the defense and the left side of the offense, and he's able to turn around and spin around and make this tackle before the running back gets started. But good job by Josh Wilson. He's not that big a guy, only 5'9", but he used all of his sleeve length on that one to make that tackle.
Dominic Rhodes is the running back on third down. He gets the handoff. He's hit behind the line and then crushed. Mike Green made the final stop, but Kevin Bentley was also there, and that's going to bring up fourth down. Well, we have relatively good news on Marcus Tubbs. The diagnosis is a right knee sprain. He will not return tonight, but the important factor there is that it's his right knee.
Right, not the one that was injured, not the one he had the surgery on. You want to hold your breath on that one, and great news for the Seahawks right now on Marcus Tubbs, but it is a knee sprain on the other knee.
Oakland will go for the first on fourth down. Travis Taylor starts in motion, and a whistle, and a timeout is called by Seattle. In preseason, Oakland has gone for it a lot. Lane Kiffin, the new head coach, the 32-year-old, rolling the dice and said, let's see what works and what doesn't. Four-man rush. McCown. Nobody open. Pressured, lets it go. Incomplete. Pretty good coverage.
Great coverage, but good protection by the Raiders' offensive front. Seahawks finally got some pressure at the last moment there by Darryl Tapp. Made him throw the football away, but good coverage down the field, like you said, by the Seahawks secondary, as Josh McCown had nowhere to go with the football.
Baraka Atkins also was unsuccessful fourth down attempt. At the conversion, Seattle takes over. First down at their own 42. Courtney Taylor back on the field. Sixth-round draft pick out of Auburn. Here's Seneca Wallace back to throw. Steps up. He'll scramble. Slides down at the 47-yard line. Marcus Weeks was also on the field for that last play. Josh Shaw, number 95, defending for Oakland.
Raiders getting some good pressure on Seneca Wallace that time. And Seneca does a nice job of stepping back up inside of the pressure. That's something he can do. He has that escapability, and he does the important thing right there is he gets what he can. He gets down on that ground to take away any type of hits.
Again, a three-wide receiver set on second down. Blitz. Wallace back. Good protection. Man open. Pass is caught by B.J. Hackett in front of B.J. Ward. So Hackett with the large gain and a first down at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, this is a play you saw Bobby Ingram catch last week. B.J. Hackett runs the same route, a little flag route to the corner. And if he can put that ball just a little bit more air on it, he's able to run after the catch. But DJ goes down and makes the catch. A nice catch by DJ Hackett. Nice throw and catch by Seneca Wallace.
Hackett involved in a battle for a starting spot with Nate Burleson. Leonard Stevens back on the field. He lines up tight to the left. Here's Mo Morris, caught behind the line and dropped at the 40-yard line. Stop is made by Robert Thomas, number 55, and Josh Shaw, number 95.
Looks like we have an injured Raider down there on the field, about the 32-yard line.
That's Ismail Akajuiba, number 50, backup linebacker.
The running plays trying to cut off the backside pursuit.
Chris Spencer still in at starting center. On second down, Wallace, quick setup. Nice play. Burleson, spin move, and he is out of bounds with a 1st and goal at the 6-yard line.
The thing that was most impressive about this play is how quickly Nate Burleson becomes receiver to a runner. Watch him hit that back foot and spin, and he's a runner full speed automatically. That's what they've been waiting on out of Nate Burleson since he got here, what he can do after the catch. And right here on this slant route, he catches the football, spins, and he is at full speed and lots of yards after the catch. That's what you're looking for in this offense, yak yards.
Well, Nate Burleson had a 55-yard gain in the debacle at Green Bay. This his 2nd catch, had only 18 receptions all of last year. Wallace, left side, Burleson, touchdown, Seahawks. Burleson right, Burleson left. Seattle takes a 9-7 lead on the 6-yard toss. Seneca Wallace to Nate Burleson.
Yeah, just a very simple route, just a quick out route. A lot of it has to do with timing. Seneca Wallace puts that ball right on Nate Burleson's numbers just as he comes out of his break, and Hiram Eugene had no chance on this play.
Josh Brown on for the extra point. 58 yards in 5 plays. It took 2:31. And it was Burleson with the 2 big plays in the drive.
Here's to make the catch, and he gets the touchdown.
Brown with the kickoff. Chris Carr grabs it at the 3, comes right and is spilled near the 38-yard line, 28-yard line, and a flag thrown from way downfield. Utafisi, number 72, made the tackle.
I thought I might have saw
during
a face
the return
mask.
Personal foul, face mask by the kicking team, number 54. 15-yard penalty enforced from the kick return. Oakland keeps the ball, 1st down.
That's Will Herring. He's another one attempting to make this squad off the Auburn football team. Fans, it's time to join the Blue Pride season ticket waiting list. With 43 consecutive sellouts at Quest Field, be next in line for Seahawks season tickets. Visit Seahawks.com for more information. After the penalty, 1st down at the 43-yard line. And Dominic Rhodes, number 33, is the running back. Josh McCown still in at quarterback. We expect to see him at the least for most of the first half, or for all of the first half. Tony Stewart, number 86, is the tight end. Here's Rhodes to the 50-yard line, perhaps just across. Man, we've been joined by Matt Hasselbeck on the sidelines, who got a night off. I think you might have wanted to play a couple series, though. We got a 2nd down and short here. Here's McCown going left to Travis Taylor. That'll be a 1st down plus and out of bounds. You know, I was thinking back when you were at Green Bay and you did not have the roster made. You can kind of empathize with what some of these youngsters are going through.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, before our game, you would have thought that this was a playoff game. As quiet as it was and as serious as everybody was, there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people right now. And so I think guys are doing a good job of coming out and playing free and relaxed and trying to make plays, and it's good to see.
Matt, this is 2 games now you've sat out. That's kind of a sign that you're getting old, man, that they're not going to play you every game.
I know. It's okay, though.
We've got word that your 2 daughters are performing at halftime.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that. It's way past their bedtime. It's almost past my bedtime, so hopefully that goes well.
Now, you've got a good relationship with Mike, right? Are you going to ask him if you can come out and watch him?
No. I'm at work. This is a work day for me.
It's not that good a relationship,
no.
is it?
Well, you know, the other thing is, too, is when Mike turns the play calling over to Gil Haskell, then he may turn his headset over to me. So I got to keep my head in the game.
All right. Well, we enjoy we'll look forward to watching them, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
On second down, here's the handoff right side. Goes to Dominic Rhodes, and he's down to the 29-yard line. C.J. Wallace makes the tackle, but it's a gain of 9.
Now, this play looked like it had disaster written all over it, but Dominic Rhodes made a lot out of it by being able to cut back. He kind of used the over pursuit of Baraka Adkins on the backside, and he's able to come out and get 9 yards on the play. So good job by Dominic Rhodes making something out of nothing.
3rd and 1. Seahawks lead by 3. Rhodes, I don't think he got it. Looks like 4th down.
It's going to be close.
Nico Kudavides said yesterday his biggest attribute is his physicality.
And he might be right about that, Vern. He is a very physical middle linebacker. They saw that when they first drafted him as a rookie, and he has not disappointed since. And I think they do come up short here. Nice surge by that offensive front, make that defensive front, and then Nico just kind of sticks his head in there, and the ball carrier goes no further once he makes contact.
Kudavides with 3 tackles already. 4th and a yard, a short yard. Rhodes, but he might have got it with the spin.
The ball came out, I think. Yeah, it's going to be interesting where this forward progress is. It looked like the Seahawks were signaling like he fumbled, but I guess they were just saying 4th down, we got the ball going this way, 1st down.
Craig Terrell may have grabbed an ankle, and Kudavides was a part of it.
And they're not going to even measure.
No.
The low man usually wins in short yardage situations. You try and get leverage and get up underneath, and that's just what they did. Craig Terrell does a great job of pushing his guy backwards, grabs a hold of the leg like you said, and doesn't allow Dominic Rhodes to get that forward progress to try and lunge for the 1st down. So good charge by Craig Terrell, one of those defensive linemen trying to make this football team again.
Well, he's part of that Purdue group. He and Kudavides were teammates on the Boilermaker team. And Stuart Schweigert, who's safety for Oakland, was also a member of that bunch. 1st down and 10. Here's Seneca Wallace back. Hands it off. And it goes to Weaver. They played for a defensive coordinator at Purdue. Still there. Has the no. You got to be Ashley Lilly.
Exactly.
You know.
I don't know about that, but something like that.
Here's Weaver. Oh, dear. Weaver picks up the 1st down. Ricky Brown, number 57.
I'm Leonard Weaver.
Tight end at Carson Newman, Division II school. 6 foot, 242 pounds. They envisioned a role for him to spell Max Strong quite a bit this year, but he's had a frustrating summer. So this is a very, very important night for him. He leads the way, got a little butt block. Nice block that gave Mo Morris a couple of extra yards.
That time he actually got 2 blocks on the play. He helped out his guard on the outside, bumped his man and kind of helped him, and then went to the outside and got another block from the fullback spot. So Leonard Weaver showing a lot of versatility. First running the ball from the single set. There's that little block we talked about, and then another block on the corner. And then he turns over and goes to fullback and becomes a blocker. So runner on one play, blocker on the next play.
2nd down. Slipped the ball to Weaver again, and he is across the 50 to the 49. Tyler Brayton, number 91, is there.
What he did as a rookie.
Here's Weaver again on 3rd down. See where the forward progress is. Close.
It's going to be very close.
Ricky Brown, number 57, with the tackle. And Ed Hockley, I think, wants to bring the chain out and see if this one is a 1st down. So they will.
Look at Ed Hockley and his physique.
Yes.
I wonder if they should start.
Well, and he is acknowledged, I think, as one of the best referees in the National Football League.
He's one of at least the top two, no question about it.
Fourth down, Seahawks will go for it. Fourth, and you saw it, Hockley's motion, maybe 6 inches. Yet to convert a fourth down in preseason. Whoa!
They got him. That's a called play in the huddle where you're trying to get the other team to jump off sides by using your snap count. And if you don't jump them off sides, then you go ahead and call the timeout.
Number 77, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Antaj Hoffman and the cadence.
Nice job by Seneca Wallace at the line of scrimmage with voice inflection. And he gets the Raider to jump off sides, and that's just some quarterbacks do get called for bobbing their head, and they get them called for jumping the defense off sides.
So first down at the 43. Here's Wallace back. Oh, boy. Did he get it? Yes. DJ Hackett down on the ground. No, now they're saying he trapped the ball. Chris Clemens was applying the pressure to Seneca Wallace.
That would have been one heck of a catch if he comes up with that one against Chris Johnson. The ball a little bit low. He was open on the play, but it goes right through his hands, and it does hit the ground. Good call by the officials.
And so a second down and 10. Hackett goes wide right.
That's a ball I think regular season DJ Hackett catches.
High formation behind Wallace on second down. Here's Mo Morris. Tries to come left, doesn't get much. Jay Richardson, number 98. Rookie trying to make this ball club, makes the tackle.
Yeah, Jay Richardson, another one of those Ohio State players that we talked about when we were on the field today. They just seem to keep churning them out in the National Football League. And not only are they good football players, but pretty good people, too. They do a good job of recruiting good character players at Ohio State University.
Richardson, a 5th-round draft pick. And it's third down. Make it 9. Wallace steps up. Fires. It's caught at the 31-yard line. Nate Burleson, 3rd catch of the evening. That's a gain of 12 and a first down.
And he catches this ball in front of a pretty good corner, Dwayne Starks, but he does a good job of getting his body in between the ball, and he really makes his body big so that Starks cannot get around him to knock this ball away. He does a good job of coming back for the football and gets himself big and wide. And Seneca Wallace also does a good job of getting that ball right on his numbers.
And a first down. Seattle leads at 10-7 with 3:10 to go in the first half. Wallace play fake. A lot of time. Goes deep. Hackett is back there, and it's intercepted. Picked off by that pretty good corner, Dwayne Starks.
Just what I was talking about. I think Seneca took a little too long on this play. If he lets that ball go a little bit earlier, maybe Starks doesn't read it, but Starks was in the corner spot playing up, and he just kind of read Seneca's eyes for the deep over, and he gets up underneath it. So you got to give the Raiders some credit on this play as Starks comes up with a big interception.
Ball will be ruled down at the 1-yard line. Raiders tipper. Signed as a free agent, having been waived by the Miami Dolphins. Knee injuries the last 2 years. And a chance to become the starter for the Raiders. He takes over at the 1-yard line. He's had a pretty good preseason. And he'll throw. Left side, incomplete.
Not a great place to start your first drive coming into the football game on your own one, but you know, Dante Culpepper's been around for a while, and I'm sure this isn't anything that surprises him. A lot of good push going up the field. Brandon Mebane along with Craig Terrell getting a lot of pressure up in his face. He has to roll out of the pocket and just throw that ball away.
Travis Taylor starts in motion. They'll hand this one off to Dominic Rhodes. Safety. Darryl Tapp, number 55, who's had a big summer.
Another big surge by that defensive front of the Seattle Seahawks. Dominic Rhodes nowhere to run the football. Nico Kudavides, Daryl Tapp, all of them back there to make the stop. And he never got close to the line of scrimmage on this play. Watch Nico, watch Daryl Tapp on an inside charge. Brandon Mebane takes 2 people up the field. Just a lot of Seahawks around the football. That's what you want to see out of your young players. You want to see them playing like this game really means something, and that's the way they're playing right now. A lot of great effort by a lot of people.
Kudavides signals the safety. Boy, there were a lot of guys around the ball.
And you know, they're all going to take credit for it tonight.
Joe Fernandez is the other, both trying to make it as wide receivers. Fernandez, his father, is here tonight. Longtime player for the Oakland Raiders. And here's Joe Fernandez with a chance to make a point. And he does. Fredrickson tackled him. Fernandez, as he said yesterday, not the quickest, not the fastest. Sure hands, strong route runner. And this game means a lot. He grew up around the Oakland Raider locker room.
And right there showed some pretty nifty moves, and I'm sure this made Dad very happy watching his son take off and get around that left side for a nice return after that safety.
Well, his dad, Mervyn, living in the Bay Area, you told me you played against him up in Canada.
I did. He was a great receiver for the BC Lions. Played against him a bunch in the playoffs and during the regular season. Then he came down and made the trek to the NFL along with myself, and we both had some pretty good careers.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll second that. First down and 10 after the kick return on the free kick. Seneca Wallace pumps once, goes deep, man coverage right side. Good coverage on the right side, intended for Burleson, and Chris Johnson was right there.
Yeah, they play a lot of man coverage, the Raiders do in that secondary. They have a lot of confidence in the guys that they have covering the receivers, and they just put them out there on an island and say cover them all day, and for some reason it's worked for them. 150 yards a game. They only gave up last year, #1 in the National Football League against the pass.
Bob Ryan's got a certain look, doesn't he? Defensive coordinator.
He's got some kind of look. I don't know if he's the younger or the youngest son of
he's
Buddy
one
Ryan.
or two of Buddy
Yes.
Ryan, absolutely. Former Philadelphia Eagle coach and defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears. Bob Ryan, another brother, is also in the league. He's got more hair than his dad, I'll say that.
Much more. And his brother is the defensive coordinator with the Baltimore Ravens, who was the #1 defense in the league last year. The Raiders were #3 overall in defense. So they are really keeping pace with their dad as great defensive coordinators.
Let's go down to Paul and Brock on the field. Coming up, Brock's back. You know.
That's what he's really happy about.
Second down and 10. Here's Wallace. Little pressure. Scoots up the middle. He's tackled at the 47-yard line, so it'll be third down. Jay Richardson, number 98, got back and made the stop on that one. Now Weaver's in for Morris.
Strong safety blitz by the Raiders that time. Seneca kind of read it and just saw a little seam open up through the middle and took it and got 6 yards. Almost split those two. Would have had a lot of green in front of him if he splits those two defenders as they let it run down to the 2-minute warning.
So we will stop the clock and take a timeout. 2-minute warning. Matt Hasselbeck, no work tonight. He's going to get ready for Tampa Bay. Seahawks lead it by a count of 12-7, looking at a third down from their own 46-yard line. And you never fail to surprise. You've got a new doohickey here.
It is a doohickey. It kind of looks like a Game Boy. You know, it's called Kangaroo TV by DirecTV, and you can get these in the stadium. You can rent these during games and watch any game throughout the league that day. You can get stats. You can get all the different games. Keep up with your fantasy football team, whatever you want to do on this right here.
As a matter of fact, you could probably do a replay of Leonard Weaver catching that pass.
Yeah, we probably need a replay because if you're looking down here at this too long, you might miss some great Seahawk action. But for those die-hard
field
football
blocking
fans,
before the pass was touched. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Well, Ed Hockley is a spoiler here. And here's some of the information for
so you better get them fast because they're going to go fast. I have a very good feeling.
Holding was called on Leonard Stevens. That's his third penalty of the night. And it wipes out that huge gain by Weaver. Here's Weaver on third down. He'll get back to the 45, and that'll bring up a fourth down. Donovan Darius, number 20, made the tackle. And the punting unit comes on. Ryan Plackmeyer.
Well, Leonard Stevens better get ready for the second half, and he's got some work to do. He's got three different penalties in this first half. 2 have stopped drives.
Give him a shovel and a pail, because he's got to dig himself out of a hole. Johnny Lee Higgins, who has a 90-yard punt return, is back awaiting Plackmeyer's effort. Fourth down from the 45-yard line. 1:09 remaining. Higgins runs up. He'll return another one. He's got some room. He is tripped up at the 35-yard line by David Kurtman, number 34. Seattle Sounders will host Major League Soccer's FC Dallas and .net. Dante Culpepper still the quarterback, second series for him.
Better field position to start this drive for Dante. That's not going to help it, though.
No.
False start offense.
Looks
Number
like
75.
Henderson, that's the second
5-yard penalty.
Second penalty on him.
Come on, Mario, you're a rookie. You can't be making those type of plays on the last preseason game. That's not how you make the team.
Henderson, a third-round draft pick out of Florida State.
The little guy.
Yeah.
300. 26'7".
Right. 32-year-old head coach Lane Kiffin, last 6 years at Southern California, had a lot to do with the development of Reggie Bush and others. Here's a flip. Oh, nice tackle. Pete Hunter. Boy, that was textbook.
That's how you read the screen from the cover 2 position. He's up in close to the line of scrimmage. He sees the screen and reads it and comes up and makes the tackle before the ball carrier can get going. Dominic Rhodes is probably wondering what's going on here. I can't get started.
Second and a bunch with less than 30 to go. That ball caught up at the 38-yard line. Mike Williams makes the catch, number 17. Kevin Hobbs, 32. It's third down. Nine seconds to go.
Looks like they're going to let this clock run out.
Interesting.
Really interesting when you have 3 timeouts on the clock. Why leave them up there? Go ahead and use them, but I guess Lane Kiffin has a reason.
Seahawks scored 12 unanswered, and they got a safety on a running play to add the final 2. As Dominic Rhodes was caught behind the line. Halftime in Seattle. Seahawks lead at 12-7.
Second half getting underway and back deep. Courtney Taylor. And also back deep. Fernandez, he's tripped up. Just a few moments ago, JT the Brick caught up with Lane Kiffin.
Joined by head coach Lane Kiffin. Coach, you got your touchdown on special teams. How would you evaluate the first half?
Yeah, great job by Johnny Lee on that play. Our defense is playing real well. Offense, we're getting some first downs. We're 1 of 5 on third downs. We're 0 of 2 on fourth downs. We're not finishing our drives.
Even though the first game is 10 days away, your staff's going to be really busy finalizing this roster.
Yeah, they are. Some guys are playing well, and we got a number of guys to look at right now.
Good luck, Coach. Think have a great second half. There he is, Lane Kiffin. Back to you, Grant.
All right, Brick, appreciate it. Seneca Wallace starts this second half. And it is complete to Joe Fernandez. Breaks the tackle, and he's still on his feet. Finally brought down by B.J. Ward at the 44-yard line.
And that's happened a few times today with the Raider defense giving up extra yards after the guy makes the catch. And receiver makes the catch like Joe Fernandez there. And as I mentioned, Joe Fernandez, son of Mervyn Fernandez, who played with the Raiders from 87 to 92. But a good effort on Joe's part. You got to make better tackles, better stops.
First down for the Seattle Seahawks. Little delay. And not much doing there as Leonard Weaver, the third-year player from Carson Newman. And he gets so across the 46 to the 47-yard line. And now an injured Seahawk down on the field.
Now, I was talking a little bit a while ago, the first half anyway, about...
Seahawks have the lead back here in Seattle. If you're joining us a little late, you missed a 90-yard punt return by Johnny Lee Higgins of the Raiders in the first quarter. Right now, after the injury to the center for the Seahawks, Pat Ross, Seneca Wallace is looking at a 2nd down and 6. And good pressure. Wallace forced out of the pocket and somehow was able to thread the needle complete to Courtney Taylor. And they're going to say it was out of bounds, incomplete.
And you talking about pressure. Quentin Moses, another kid, a youngster that's come into camp and has done fantastic things. The Raiders has high hopes on him. Keith Millard is a guy who's developing
Holding
these guys.
offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Holding on Chris Gray. He had to hold because of the Raiders' pressure.
And when you look at Quentin Moses, he's number 96. He's a guy that puts a lot of pressure on the passer. He and Richardson are the projects of Keith Millard. He's doing an excellent job. Look at the speed Moses possesses, and look how he comes at the quarterback with such tenacity, guys. This guy's going to be, his clock is going 100 miles an hour. He's going to be a pretty good one, I think, guys.
Well, I think you're right. I think when you talk about what he did at Georgia, 25 sacks in his career, a 3rd-round pick, he has really excelled for the Raiders. You talked about Jay Richardson. We've talked about him a lot in this camp, just part of the youth of this football team. Wallace doesn't get the exchange, and he falls on it back at the 33-yard line. So it's now 3rd and long for the Seahawks.
Now, this is a situation for a quarterback when you look over to the sideline and there's nobody there, you know, when you have these long situations, you know, you're on your own, buddy, but, you know, that happens sometimes.
I talked to Seneca Wallace yesterday, and he was relaying the finally, after, waiting and waiting and waiting, he had his chance to start 4 games last year, played pretty well, and that's why he got the new contract in the offseason. Has to be patient playing behind a very good quarterback, and Matt Hasselbeck. And a little delay, and it's going to be a punt situation for the Seahawks after Leonard Weaver was brought down after a short game.
But that's why depth is so important. You got Seneca Wallace, who started 4 games. Then you have Sean Alexander getting hurt last year, and Maurice Morris filled in for him quite adequately. And you need that depth in the NFL. It's very seldom that every player is going to play all 16 regular season games. It's a long season.
Plaquemire with the kick, Johnny Lee Higgins, and he calls for the fair catch at the 26-yard line. We'll be right back. Raiders football when we return on the Oakland Raiders television network. August 5th of last summer, John Madden getting his day to put on the yellow jacket at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Justin Fargas with his first carry. Of course, I hope Plunk, before too much longer, I'm seeing Tom Flores and a guy named Jim Plunkett put on a yellow jacket before too much longer.
Maybe this August, Plunk, we'll see you getting inducted, huh?
I don't think so, but thanks for the thoughts, man. And and right in the booth right next to us, another guy went in the Hall of Fame the same day that John Madden did, is Warren Moon, and he's doing the broadcast for the Seahawks right next to us.
Your day is coming, Jim. Your day is coming.
Of course, guy you threw the ball to, Cliff Branch, another Raider hopeful, outstanding career. Fargas. And he's tripped up at the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be a 3rd down and 8.
You go over the first half, and Josh McCown was 5 for 12, passing for 75 yards. Not a real productive day for him. I'm sure he's probably a little disappointed in what went on in that first half, but there's nothing you can do about it now, and now it's Dante Culpepper's turn.
So a 3rd down for the Raiders here in the 3rd quarter. Alvis Whitted to the right. Number 87 at the bottom of your screen. Seahawks blitz. Culpepper in trouble. And he just throws it away, and the Raiders will have to punt the football. But the one thing you saw there, guys, excuse me, the one thing you saw, again, the ability for Dante Culpepper to get out of the pocket.
That's exactly where I was going. I mean, if it was any question about his mobility and his ability to get out of the pocket, well, that answers that. And you see here, Culpepper outruns the defensive lineman, getting to the outside, throwing the ball away. I don't think it's a question, Grant, whether he's healthy or not.
Well, I agree with you there. Joe Fernandez is back deep. Fredrickson in punt formation. And Fernandez will chase it back at the 22-yard line. And he's tackled out of bounds after a short return. We'll be back. Seahawks will have the football. It's 12-7. Seattle on the Oakland Raiders television network. Seattle with the lead, 12-7, and a lot of this preseason is focused on the youngest coach in the NFL history, and Lane Kiffin. And, you talk about the Raiders. Hey, this is a franchise that they are coming out to win. Lane Kiffin doesn't want to hear about how he's in his first year and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to just tell you something, Plunk and George. You guys know this. You look at a coach like Tom Landry. You look at a coach like Jimmy Johnson. These guys, it took them a while. They won Super Bowls, all right? Lane Kiffin is here to get this team back to where they were a short period of time ago, AFC champions, and into a Super Bowl. That's his job.
And that's any coach's job, is to definitely get your team ready to win your division, win your conference, win the Super Bowl, and that's Lane Kiffin's goal. And, if the preseason is any indication, then he's off on a good track, and I think he's on a good pace of getting this done, what we're talking about, winning his division.
And Lane Kiffin, mentioned time and time again that it doesn't matter what happened in the past. He's here to put the best possible team on the field, the best players to make things happen out there, and that's exactly what he's trying to do.
Absolutely. Really, you look at a lot of coaches that have been successful, and you look at Seneca Wallace. Oh, a nice play by Starks. You look at a coach like Jimmy Johnson, for instance, when he took over the Cowboys. He won one game his first year. Bill Parcells, when he took over the Giants, only won 2 or 3 games, okay? We're not saying that the Raiders are going to win 1 or 2 games. The point we're trying to make here is, you know what? This is a team that is clearly based on the draft picks we've talked about, based on the youth, based on this defense now, elevating themselves to an upper echelon defense. They're better than a lot of those teams we talked about, the Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson and Tom Landry and all the. Hey, this team is well on their way.
Oh, without a doubt. And the mixture of veterans that we talked about,
that's
the nucleus just developed. You got a nice mixture of veterans and younger players. And that's what builds a football team, and that's what makes a football team's foundation solid, is your nucleus. And I think the Raiders' nucleus is solid.
And let's not forget that they've got the #1 pick, maybe the very best football in all of college football, that hopefully will be signed very soon. That is part of the future, Plunk. And you can't forget about that.
Yeah, he certainly is. Jamarcus Russell, there's, unlimited ability, and, it's just a matter of getting him into camp.
Johnny Lee Higgins, a fair catch. And at the 36-yard line. So the Raiders will take over 1st and 10 with 5 minutes gone by here in the third quarter when we come back on the Oakland Raiders television network.
Welcome back to the Raiders television network. I'm here with Sam Williams, and Sam and I have been talking before we came on about how off the hook this stadium is, huh?
Yeah, it's packed for a preseason game. I've never been in a stadium like this during the preseason.
It feels like a regular season game. There's a lot of silver and black here as well.
Yeah, we got this whole cheering section over here. I don't know if you can see it, but Raider fans are out tonight.
Sam was part of that NFL third-ranked defense from last season. And the Raider Nation loves Rob Ryan, defensive coordinator, because of his hair, for no other reason. But why do you guys love playing for him?
I love playing with him because his attitude. He's just straight ahead, straightforward, tells you what you need to do, and you need to get it done, and that's how he is.
I know you're anxious to get ready to get to that first regular season game, right?
Yeah, I watched the Lions play today a little bit. It's preseason, but we're already in that mode, ready for the Lions.
What was the goal to accomplish in this final preseason game for you guys?
We wanted everybody to come out healthy. That was the main goal. Just get ready for next week. And right now they're trying to get the final cuts and get the final roster. So as long as we came out healthy, we're okay.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. We're ready. Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you,
Sam Williams is ready. Back to you, Grant.
And Sam Williams is part of probably the best trio of young linebackers when you look at them as a group, with Thomas Howard, who's only in his 2nd year. You got Kirk Morrison only in his 3rd year, and Williams in the 3rd year as well. You talk about a young core of linebackers. Wow. Again, you talk about the future. This is the present with guys that are really not even in their prime yet that are already playing at a high level.
And you're talking about 3 guys who have equal ability almost, although Kurt Marson may be a little bit ahead of these guys because he's played more. But you're talking about 3 young linebackers. When we talk about building a nucleus, this is what we're talking about, building a nucleus around 3 young linebackers, no more than 3 years between the oldest one, and they're all good linebackers.
Yes, they are. No doubt about that. All with good speed.
Oh, excellent speed.
Culpepper. Blitz. Screen set up. This is Fargas. Has some blockers in front. Fargas. Justin Fargas. And he's in the Seattle territory all the way down to the 47-yard line. That screen was run to perfection.
It was executed extremely well. A lot of pressure on Dante Culpepper. He held on to the ball until the last possible second before he dumped it off to Justin Fargas out there on the flat. Got blockers in front of him. Here's Dante looking down the field with a lot of pressure on him, yet has the wherewithal to just dump it off with a nice soft touch to Justin, and Justin does the rest on his own with a couple of key blocks downfield.
25-yard pickup for Justin Fargas. First down for the Raiders. Culpepper with time. Looking, has a man, and Johnny Lee Higgins can't come down with it.
That was a pretty nice throw, too. He put that between 2 defenders. John Lee Higgins was running up kind of in pattern. It started out as an up. The ball was thrown to the inside, as you can see here, and it was a nice thrown ball. Culpepper with great vision here, Jimmy, throwing the ball upfield, and that should have been caught.
Yeah, we didn't quite lead him quite far enough. He had to bend down with the guy, really bearing down on him. But, yeah, you touch it, you catch it. That's my motto as a quarterback.
Second down and 10. Trying to set up a screen to this side. Fargas. Ooh. And Justin Fargas took a big hit from Cameron Jensen, a rookie free agent from BYU. And Fargas gets to the 42-yard line of Seattle.
And that time, they read the screen a lot better on defense. This time the screen to the right. And Justin Fargas really does get nailed because he's being tackled from behind, and then he stood up, and he's just, rammed into.
But you know what, Plunk? When you're in a position like that, you got to get your pads down. You got to get down and try to avoid that tackle, not take that straight ahead shot, staying straight up like Fargas.
Yeah, but I don't think he was, that was a very difficult situation because I don't think he knew he was going to be being tackled from behind. But I hurt my back very severely when I was with the Niners way back when, that on that very same kind of hit, being tackled from behind, and I'm falling forward, and boom, somebody just hits me right in the chest, bends me over backwards, and believe me, I have not been the same since.
I thought he could have gotten down a little bit quicker when he kind of stutter stepped there. But like you said, sometimes when you get drugged down from behind, it leaves you upright, and a guy can take a shot on you like that.
All right, it's third down for the Raiders and 7 yards to go. We're in the third quarter with 7:35 left. Here come the Seahawks with the blitz. Complete to Taylor. Boy, what a nice job that offensive line did to give Culpepper the time. And Travis Taylor has the first down all the way to the 27-yard line of the Seahawks. A well-thrown football to Travis Taylor.
And they certainly did provide the protection for Dante Culpepper. He's able to drop back, read the field with his eyes. It was a blitz. It was man coverage in the secondary, and throws a perfect strike to Travis Taylor. Good poise by Dante Culpepper. Good job by the offensive line to give him the time he needed to pick up the first down. And as Kiffin had said at halftime, they weren't converting those third down plays into first downs. This time they did.
17-yard pickup. Culpepper 5 of 8, 52 yards. Better hurry. Play clock at 2. Play action. Culpepper. And as O'Neal makes the move to the inside. And he's to the 20. And late flag comes flying from across the field. And that will stop the clock while the officials talk about it. Ed Hockley, tonight's referee.
But that's the rookie, Orrin O'Neal, caught the ball, and good cutback, picked up a few yards.
Pass interference offense, number 88, was blocking downfield before the ball was touched.
Think Ed spends a little time in the weight room?
Previous spot.
Yeah, I think so. I think they all do. They're in pretty good shape.
but that's the second time offensive pass interference has been called, once against the Seahawks, once against the Raiders. Very unusual call to begin with.
But the one thing about that play is that Culpepper buying time for himself, being able to get out of a rush, steps outside the pocket and find Orrin O'Neal on that particular play.
James Atkinson, number 88, the man called, we believe, for the pass interference on first down and 20 with 6.5 left third quarter. Then Justin Fargas, the running back, Culpepper barking out signals in this noisy preseason crowd. A lot of silver and black fans here as well. And a nice open field tackle as making the stop for the Seahawks was Lance Lowry. So he was able to stop O.J. Who was that? Santiago that made that catch? Yeah,
O.J.
it was O.J.
Santiago.
Santiago made the catch, and it is going to be now a third down plunk and long. Or second down and long, I beg your pardon. They got 2nd and 14.
And you don't have to pick it all up at once. Just as I showed there, they're trying to get to the tight end, have him pick up a few yards and pick up quite as many as they hope.
Little delay to Fargas. And Fargas is brought down by Cameron Jensen again. That's 2 big hits for Jensen on this drive. And it's now going to be third down. And it looks like 13 for the Raiders.
So what you want to do is either get close enough or closer for a field goal attempt, or pick up a first down and continue this drive.
And what Lane Kiffin, I'm pretty sure, enjoys seeing is that Culpepper has the ability to come in and move this football team down the field.
But what he told JT, he goes, he wants to see the offense finish drives. They didn't do that in the first half. Here's an opportunity right now to get some points. Third down, 13. Seahawks with a 4-man rush. Culpepper with time, looking for Taylor. Got him! And a first down inside the 15, right on the money as Taylor, as he was making his break, and the football was right there, Jim.
An excellently thrown ball by Dante Culpepper. Reading the field, it was a zone this time. They didn't want to go man-to-man. They didn't blitz, just a 4-man rush. As you mentioned, good protection. Offensive line does an excellent job, and there's Culpepper reading the field. And this time he goes to his right to Travis Taylor on the outside. Great throw, great catch, way it should be done.
And like Grant said, that ball was released long before the receiver. Taylor made his break for it, and that's timing.
All right, a first down for the Raiders inside the 15-yard line of Seattle. O'Neal in motion. And a false start. And we've seen a lot of penalties.
False start, offense
from
number
linemen
67.
in this game, and that's going to now make it a first and 15.
And do you think it could be some of the noise that's in this stadium? It's a pretty loud stadium, but Seattle's always been a very loud place to play. And that was Kevin Booth that time, standing up with a false start. Penalties you don't need, but it is loud here.
Yeah, it is. No, this is regarded as one of the loudest, if not the loudest stadiums in the NFC.
They have a tremendous turnout for a preseason game when you look at it. I mean, it's
they love their
capacity.
Seahawks here.
Oh yeah.
And they, let's face it, it's a team that's done very well the last couple of years. They got a brand new stadium, beautiful place to watch a game. And Culpepper again right on the money to Santiago, and he's down the 5 to the 4. And I'll tell you one thing, guys. I've been to a lot of championship games. I've been to big games, but the game I was at when the Raiders last played in the AFC Championship game against Tennessee at the Coliseum was the loudest crowd I've ever experienced. And the fans literally, they didn't sit down the entire 4 quarters for that game.
Hey, the Raiders can bring it on when they want to.
That was unbelievable. Honestly, that's the loudest crowd I've ever experienced in a National Football League.
Fans in Oakland definitely know how to be fans and know when to cheer and when not to cheer, and that's important for fans.
Second down and short as Culpepper on a very impressive drive. 5 for 6, 76 yards. Play action, and Culpepper to the end zone, touchdown. Nicely done, and it's caught by James Atkinson. Culpepper could have walked it in for 6, but instead he threw it to Atkinson.
He thought about doing it. Great play fake. Fake the run to the left, bootlegged out to the right, and he could have ran it or thrown it. But here's the play fake coming up by Culpepper. Draws everybody to the left side of the Raider line, and there he is all by himself. Run, throw, what should I do? Oh, I want the stats, I'll throw it.
But you know what, when you see that kind of action from the defense, you know the execution was perfect. And Culpepper, hey, when he stuck it in, before he rolled, stuck it in the back's belly, and everything went to the left side. He rolls to the right. You know the execution is perfect when no one's over there but him and the receiver.
So the Raiders take the lead, and they add on. It's 14-12. 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in the third quarter after a very impressive drive by Culpepper and the Raiders on the Oakland Raiders television network.
Zach Miller joins us. I got to ask you about your life since the draft and now what's changed. You get a little breather now, but you're ready for your first regular season game against Detroit in 10 days.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, mine's my first away game, really, and just excited to get to play in the regular season and get after it against Detroit next week, and I can't wait for it.
From watching you in Napa throughout the preseason, you love this offense because the tight end gets open down the middle of the field.
Yeah, the tight end's a huge part of it. Both in the running game and the passing game. We got to get a lot of looks from the quarterback and have some plays designed for us.
Good luck this year. Thanks a lot. That's Zach Miller, Grant.
Hey, JT, we appreciate it. There's Fernandez with a nice run back. Joe Fernandez out across the 40. And they're going to put him down at the 43-yard line on a 34-yard return with 3:26 left here in the third quarter.
And Joe Fernandez is making, a name for himself as well. Whether or not he remains on this Seattle Seahawks team, in a sense, doesn't matter because people have seen the way he's played tonight, and other teams may be interested in him as well.
From Fresno State, the rookie free agent, Seneca Wallace has played the whole game at quarterback.
Timeout, Oakland.
And a timeout has been called.
It's a 30-second
by the
timeout.
Yeah, but obviously this is a crucial time for a lot of these young players and some of the veterans as well to remain on their respective rosters. They're going to be taking a good hard look at these players, and all the coaches they want to keep their guys. If you're a linebacker coach, sometimes you want an extra linebacker. If you're a DB coach, you want that extra DB out there.
Well, we're cutting down to 53 players in the National Football League September 1st. Then on September 2nd, you established a practice squad of 8 players. So busy 48 to 72 hours upcoming for all organizations to get down to the 53-man limit and, of course, the practice squad. Seneca Wallace scoots away from the defense, and he is brought down at the 47-yard line, made something out of nothing.
Yeah, he certainly did. It certainly looked like he was about to be sacked, yet he had the wherewithal to get out of the grasp of the Raider lineman and pick up, 6 yards.
Pressure breaks pipes and quarterbacks.
Haven't heard that one before. That's good, George. Second down and 5 for the Seahawks. Raiders by 2. And Leonard Weaver across midfield in the Raiders territory at the 49. He is going to be short of the first down by a yard, and it's going to be third down for Seattle.
But you talk about these cut down days. This is crucial for a lot of young players. And we talked about special teams, guys getting looks on special teams. A lot of players will either make it or they won't make it because of their special team play.
Marquise Weeks comes in for the Seahawks. He's the running back, split at the top of your screen, standing at the 45-yard line. And he now goes in motion. Wallace. Picked off. And with the football, John Bowie, the rookie out of Cincinnati, the 4th-round draft pick. And the Raiders have the football in Seattle territory.
And what a move he made to pick that play off. I mean, he came inside. I don't think Seneca Wallace even saw Bowie. He drops back to pass it. He looks directly at the receiver, which gives Bowie a good read. He steps in front and picks it up. Big play for the Raiders. Needed it at the time. And the Raiders, gives Culpepper another chance to finish off offensive drive. Bowie here picks it off, steps inside. That's a big-time move right there, guys.
Dante Culpepper will take over 1st and 10 at the Seattle 46. Adam Shinobi Echimandu is in at running back, and he also one of the many running backs that has looked so good for the Raiders. And Echimandu is not able to hang on. He wouldn't have been able to go anywhere as the coverage was there for the Seahawks. As you look at the rookie from Cincinnati with a beautiful interception.
You look at Culpepper, the way he drops back on this particular play anyway. He drops back with such poise and such such easiness that he's comfortable
It's very
now.
graceful.
Oh, yeah, very graceful. He's comfortable now with the offense, and he knows exactly where everyone is supposed to be in the offense.
2nd down and 10. Raiders with the lead, 14-12 here in the 3rd quarter. Final 2 minutes of this quarter. And it's caught with it. And a big open field tackle right there saved a lot of yardage as DeJuan Gross, the 5th-year player from Nebraska, brought down Alvis Whitted.
And Alvis Whitted almost got away, almost came up with a big play, just was able to bring him down just by the jersey.
You know, Jimmy, I think one of the things you can tell about a quarterback who's comfortable with an offense and the players gather around him, the energy that he brings to the table. And you can see that the energy is picked up with this offense with Culpepper in there.
Chris McFoy into the game. Culpepper 10 of 14 for 99 yards and a touchdown. Carlos Francis comes to a stop at the bottom. Echimandu, he's across the 35. Down for the first down to the 34-yard line, and a new set of downs for the Raiders offense here with a minute left in this 3rd quarter.
But you're right, George. You know, Dante Culpepper brings, you know, a comfort, a certain poise about him with all of his experience. You know, he's one of the top quarterbacks just a couple of years ago at Minnesota, and you know, I think, you know, that all reflects on how that offense is being run out there.
Culpepper 10 of 14. Francis in motion. Echimandu, the Seahawks read that all the way. They bunched up at the line of scrimmage right before the snap. Lance Larry from South Carolina, the first one there on the tackle, number 50.
Yep.
There was really nowhere for him to run. He had to cut it up, but the pursuit was there and grabbed him from the backside.
And that may do it for the 3rd quarter. We're down to 11, 10 seconds, and Culpepper is going to let it wind down. So we have 15 minutes left of the 2007 preseason. 4th quarter straight ahead on the Oakland Raiders television network.
3rd quarter.
Now by cornerback Nnamdi Asomugha. This is quite the preseason finale, Nnamdi. This game is out of control.
Yeah, it is. It's like a regular game. You know, you got the fans out here. Everybody's yelling Raiders suck. You know, it's the stuff that goes on during the season, and we're winning. You know, it's great. It's great.
You guys are having a great time out there. I saw all y'all run out to see Dante after that great drive that he led.
Yeah, definitely. He's been doing well this whole preseason, so we got to give him his love wherever it comes. And then Atkinson got a touchdown, so we really had to give it to him after that one.
A lot of love out there. But what have you been doing for most of the game, though, Nnamdi?
I've been watching and cheering, and I've been eating some hot dogs. Warren Sapp had a bunch of hot dogs. He was passing them out. So between you, me, and you all, Warren Sapp has been stealing hot dogs and passing them out, and we've been eating them.
This is the kind of insight you don't get anywhere else.
You don't get this anywhere else, you know. But we're still cheering for the team.
Breakthrough season for you, or a breakout season for you last year. What's been your focus in the offseason and the preseason to pick up where you left off last year?
Just, you know, basically getting better, learning the defense more, you know, as far as the defense and my eyes and my feet, certain things like that. I've just tried to get better all around.
Thanks, Nnamdi. Big game for Cal this weekend, too, by the way. Shout out to the Bears.
Yeah, we're going to beat Tennessee. It's going to be a great game on Saturday. You didn't catch that. I said we're going to beat. Did you catch it?
I totally caught it.
Okay, yeah, we're going to beat them on Saturday, so you guys check that out. You've done a great job this preseason, too, by the way. I wanted to tell you that.
Thank you, Nnamdi.
So keep it coming.
Thank you very much. It's going to be nice.
Okay, very good.
Nnamdi Asomugha. Back to you guys upstairs.
and the hot dogs down on the sidelines, huh?
Sapp got busted.
I think he should have kept that to himself.
Yeah. Well, 4th down and 8 for Culpepper. 4th quarter. Time and incomplete. Broken up. Intended for Atkinson and Seattle. There's a penalty marker down. I don't know if this is a hold or roughing the passer.
Offense,
it's a hold,
number
so
61.
they'll decline
the
it,
penalty
and
is declined.
the Seahawks will take
Seattle's
over on
ball.
downs.
You know, Lane Kiffin made a statement to JT at halftime that he wanted to see some of these drives finished, and that's why I think he went on fourth down on that particular play. He wanted to see if they could finish that drive on a 4th down. I like him giving confidence to the offense.
Homeowners want to refinance and get cash?
13-12. We say hi here from this beautiful press box. Grant Napier, Jim Plunkett, George Atkinson. The final preseason game with the Raiders on top by 2, and Dante Culpepper, a nice touchdown drive, and now the defense trying to stop Seattle.
Yeah, and they've got to come out, you know, play better and get the ball back for the offense once again.
And the ball is dropped, intended for Weeks. Seneca Wallace has played the whole game at quarterback. So it's going to be 2nd down and 10. This stadium right next to Safeco Field, the home of the Mariners, and they've done a nice job here in Seattle with these 2 new stadiums. Wallace, lots of time, looking, and it is complete to Josh Perry. And beg your pardon, it's Joe Newton, the tight end. And Newton, the rookie free agent out of Oregon State. In the open field, a perfectly thrown football by Wallace, and it's all the way to the 34.
You know, once again, no pressure on the quarterback. Tough for a linebacker to stay with a tight end all the way down the football field.
I don't know if he was supposed to get help from the safety on that.
32-yard play. Wallace quickly up to the line of scrimmage on a 1st down. Weeks, 3, maybe 4 yards now, still pushing forward, and he actually is going to get 5 yards on the carry as the Raiders finally stop him. Campbell Kurt on the tackle. Seahawks trying to retake the lead here in the 4th quarter with the football at the 30-yard line. Wallace looking for Kent. Touchdown. And now he dropped it. Are they going to rule it incomplete? Yes. Right into the hands of Jordan Kent. He's a 6th-round pick from Oregon this year. And the fans thought he had possession, but they say no, he never controlled the football. And it will be a 3rd down for the Seahawks.
And that's where Seneca Wallace is really doing a good job. He's putting the ball right on the money. The throw to the tight end, and now this one right in the end zone. Should have been caught, but was not.
Boy, that's awfully close to a possession with 2 feet down. And I would not be surprised if the Seahawks review this. I would think they would. And finally, the red flag comes out from Mike Holmgren.
But it's very similar to the fumble by Dominic Rhodes earlier in the ball game. Certainly.
I think that's a touchdown myself. And Ed Hockley is going to go over, and he will. I mean, I don't think.
The rules require that when a receiver is going to the ground in the process of catching a pass, he must maintain control all the way through to contact with the ground. In addition, this receiver never had complete control of the ball. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands. It's an incomplete pass. Seattle is charged with a timeout.
That is the correct call. All right. Ed Hockley explaining it to the dissatisfaction of these Seahawk fans.
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't think there's any doubt about it after watching that. One more look. Now again, he has to come down with possession right there. Does he have control? Is he bobbling it? And they say he had to maintain control when he came down with it. He did not. Right. So it's going to be a 3rd down. Seahawks charged with a timeout. 3rd down and 5. Seneca Wallace at the quarterback. And a give to Leonard Weaver. And Weaver very close to a Seattle 1st down. Going to be short. Going to be 4th down and less than a yard.
That time, the Raider defense was a little confused when they went in motion. Didn't know exactly where to line up.
B.J. Ward was chasing the running back across the field. When the running back went in motion, that left a little hole in the middle of the line. Right where B.J. left from is where they ran the football.
4th and a yard. Second man, Weeks. 1st down. Eric Frampton on the tackle.
Too much space on the backside. When you don't close the backside of your defense down, that's what happens. The running back finds room and he gains yards. You can see here the running back started up the middle, then he came to the backside of the defense where there was no one at home, and you picked up first down.
12:20 left here in the fourth. The football at the 22-yard line of the Raiders. David Kurtman in running back. Three-man rush. Wallace. And incomplete. Nice coverage by Frampton as he ran right through the receiver and almost picked it off. Was it Bowie or Frampton? 35 or 39. They were both there.
I believe it was 35, but it looked like a real good close on the ball.
A real good close.
It's hard to see who that is.
And
it's 35.
Yeah, it was 35. Yeah. Yep. Bowie, the rookie from Cincinnati, he's made some nice plays in this game. He had the interception earlier in this half.
And the close was, he just didn't close. He ran through the receiver.
You love to see that, don't you?
Oh, for sure. Come on, you know it.
Now Weaver, the lone setback. Here he is. Big hole. And he gets down to the 10-yard line. Frampton able to trip him up.
It's to draw play to offset the pressure. Just hand it off to your fullback. Let him set up like he's blocking. Hand it off to him and create space. You'll let your offensive line create space in the middle of the defensive line and let your running back pick the hole and run through.
And they must see something in the Raider defense. When they go in motion, they tend to run right up the middle or between the tackles every time they go in motion.
Third down and a yard. Weeks cuts it inside for the first down, and he's to the 10-yard line.
That time Weeks fought for extra yards. He got hit right at the line of scrimmage, and it was his second effort that got him the first down.
Yeah, Weeks is a hard-nosed runner, boy. He picks up that extra yards in a pile of people and just drives them backwards.
First down and 10. They can get a first down if they get the ball to the 1-foot line. Virginia player Marquise Weeks. Jordan Kent to the left. Steps up to the line of scrimmage. Weeks. And Weeks is in for the touchdown. And the Seahawks have the lead back at 18-14.
Not only is he powerful, guys, he's got good quickness, too. He hit that hole awfully quick and was through it in no time. I mean, there was no reaction from the Raiders defense because Weeks was in the hole so quick. I mean, it was hard to react. You can see here, look how quickly he gets through this hole. And the Raiders defense, once they see it, is a slow reaction. Slow reaction is no good on the football field. Here you can see Weeks running through the hole and powers his way into the end zone. Have the awareness to put the ball across the goal line to get 6 points.
And the extra point is good. That makes it 19-14. 10:38. Waiting for your call. They'll walk you right through the process. And this ball will be returned. Johnson, and he's out to the 29. A late flag comes in. Folks, if you can't get to every game, they've got 3 packs. If you maybe like to travel, you live down in Los Angeles, maybe you're watching in KTLA, or you live in Utah, wherever the case may be. If you want to come in for some of the games, but you can't make all of them, there are the 3 packs. There's half-season plans. There's something for everyone. And just pick up the phone and
call. There was no
1-800
foul for the
Raiders.
block in the back. There was no contact or very minimal contact, having no effect on the player.
Ed Hockley, tonight's referee. One of the very best referees in the National Football League.
I don't know about you guys. I'm getting excited about the start of the season. It's
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
around the corner. I think everybody can see the improvement of this football team, and it should be a very, very good year for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, I just love the attitude of this team right now.
Absolutely.
We talk about it. It's just, you can feel it more. You know what I'm saying, Plunk? When you
Yes.
just travel with the team and you're around them, you just feel it. Play action for Culpepper. And Echimandu has it. Lane Kiffin has said, I don't want my players talking about the past. And the past is the past. You're right. You can't do anything about it. He said, hey, guys, I don't want to forget about the past, okay? I don't care about what happened last year.
Right.
He goes, you won 2 games. I don't want to hear about it. And it's everybody's bought into it. Everybody's on the same page. And listen, I know it sounds a little premature to say this team has, good chemistry. We'll find out as the season goes along, but I know one thing. It's much improved from what we saw and I don't want to contradict myself from what we saw at the end of last year.
It certainly is. There's no doubt about that. They're playing with a lot more enthusiasm. The stakes are way down.
Yep.
They look like they're enjoying themselves out there. And Kiffin tends to say a lot of the right things, that the players want to hear, and they feel that he's treating them like men. He lets them know what's going on. So all in all, he's brought a lot of positive things with him when he came to the Raiders.
Well, we heard Stuart Swaggart on the sideline today said that Kiffin works on both sides of the ball, and they love playing for him, and that's what you got to have, your team playing for the coach.
McFoy in motion. Play action to Etchimandu. Culpepper steps and throws. Picked off. Well, he made a mistake that time as it was picked off by C.J. Wallace, and it will be Seattle football.
Could have been miscommunication between he and the receiver, Culpepper, and the receiver, Francis.
Well, I just don't think he saw the free safety lurking back there. The safety was extremely deep, wasn't going to let anybody get behind him, and he just didn't see the safety back there.
We'll be back on the Oakland Raiders television network. Here in beautiful Seattle, Washington. You ever been up there, Plunk?
I never have.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Honestly, on a clear day like today, man.
You can see forever.
Pretty much. George, I'm telling you, it's absolutely breathtaking on a day like this. And Weeks, and you can see that the Raiders went for the strip there. They didn't get it as trying to rip the ball away was Chris Clemens. Clock moving with over 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
And they have a new quarterback in Derek Devine.
Yep. Derek Devine, for the most of the season a year ago, was the third quarterback. He's I take that back. He was not. He's a rookie free agent out of Marshall. I thought that was David Green, but you're right. It's Derek Devine, and he is getting a couple of snaps here in relief of Seneca Wallace, who played for the first 3+ quarters. Leonard Weaver, and Weaver is stopped short. Derek Devine, 6'3", 222 pounds, again out of Marshall.
And you wonder sometimes how scouts can find these players. Well, they only threw 6 passes at Marshall when he was there for 2 years. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but obviously the scouts sound play, liked what they saw at least at practice, and they're signing to a free agent contract.
Ball is at the 32-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and a yard. Weeks, first down across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
The Raiders have been quite successful at stopping the run all through preseason. And right here, Seattle is trying to run the ball against them and doing an effective job. But Weeks, you got to be impressed with. I mean, he's a pretty good-looking back, Marquise Weeks.
He certainly is. I think he's done a good job. The Seahawks, up to this point, have rushed for over 100 yards now. So there's some work to be done in that area.
Andrew Walter loosening up. He may be coming in on the next possession for the Raiders. Don't yet know who's going to start against the Lions at quarterback, but Lane Kiffin has said that Andrew Walter will be the 3rd quarterback. Short gain on the play.
And even though the Raiders offense made a mistake and turned the ball over and given it back to Seattle, now it's up to the defense to be stalwart, stop this Seattle offense and get the ball back for the offense.
And here's what the Raiders defense has to be careful of right now. Seattle has been running the ball. Watch out for the play action and the Seattle Seahawks trying to go deep here. This is a perfect field position for that block.
3 wide receivers on this 2nd down. 8 to go. And they just pounded up the middle to the 47-yard line. And it's Leonard Weaver.
Forward progress was ruled on the play. Forward progress.
They actually stripped the ball loose, but as the referee said, his forward progress was halted.
And we've got an injured player, has to be helped off the field. Leonard Weaver, the ball carrier. He'll have to come off for at least 1 play. He's gotten the ball a lot tonight. He's played pretty well.
And, you know, overall, the Raiders' defense has done a pretty good job against the run as many times as Seattle has run the football.
See both teams with 4 third-down conversions. Plunk, realistically speaking, what is you look at as a good percentage on third downs? We see that Seattle's 4 of 10, the Raiders are 4 of 13. Obviously, 4 of 13 is not good, but you know, realistically, what percentage are you looking for there on third downs?
You know, anytime you're over 40%, you're doing a good job on third down. You know, last year I think the Raiders were 30-something%, right. Very low. I can't remember what it was. I don't have it offhand, or maybe I do, and I'll give it to you later.
But yeah, it wasn't near 40. We know that.
Yeah, I know that. But any percentage over 40%, you're doing a heck of a job on third down.
I think it was around 34 last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds about right. Johnny Lee Higgins, who has a 90-yard punt return in this game. He did it in the first half. Ryan Plankemeyer to kick it away. High spiraling kick, and Higgins calls a fair catch. I think he's been told to just fair catch everything.
Right.
I don't think they want him to get hurt, and that's what he's been doing.
Because he's had a lot of room in between himself and the defenders.
Plunk?
Yeah.
Plunk, what was the percentage?
36.3% last year.
All right, let's get to JT the Brick. JT?
Well, Grant, I'll tell you, Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, got into this defense on Seattle's last scoring drive. He coached them individually, went back to the bench, and told them how important it was to finish this game and finish strong. He is pacing up and down the sideline, getting in the face of everyone. He wants to win this game. The guy never tones it down a notch, George Atkinson. He is just animated on the sidelines.
That's why they love him, because he is a winner, and not, you know, he wants to win, and the guys like playing for him.
Andrew Walter is in at quarterback here in the fourth quarter. Blitz, screen, Echimandu, and he's to the 9-yard line. Gain of a yard on the play.
And that's what you don't see a lot near your own end zone. You don't see a screen pass thrown very often because it takes long to develop. You might be in the end zone. You might get sacked. Too many wrong things or bad things can happen when you try one down and backed up in your own end zone. But there's Lane Kiffin, you know, giving it a try.
Andrew Walters had a good preseason, 20 of 33, 154 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Second down and 10. Echimandu. Short gain, and it's going to be a third down for Walter and the Raiders. Final minutes of this preseason, 10 days away from the real thing when the Detroit Lions come in to McAfee Coliseum.
And although the Raiders had the first pick in this year's draft, the Detroit Lions had the second pick.
That's right.
They only had 3 victories.
Calvin Johnson.
Right.
So a third down. 5 yards to go for Walter. Four-man rush. And that's going to be short of the first down to Carlos Francis. Plunk, I know you don't like the short passes out like that, do you, when you need 5 or 6 yards to go for the first down?
Yeah, you got to run far enough to move those chains and keep them moving. Here he opts to go to the short guy, and you know, just even though it was caught, it wasn't nearly enough for the first down. And there's some guys open a little bit further down the field. You just got to hang in there a little bit more.
Yeah, it looked like McFoy was open beyond him.
Yes.
Easy to see from here.
Absolutely.
Joe Fernandez has been busy, and he will have to run back and call a fair catch at the 32-yard line. Flag is down. An excellent punt by Fredrickson. Penalty marker down back at the 18-yard line. (19-14) Seahawks. 3 minutes left here in the fourth.
Holding by the receiving team, number 34, during the kick. That's a 10-yard penalty enforced from the end of the kick. Seattle keeps the ball, first down.
So Seattle, with 3 minutes left and a 19-14 lead, back onto the field with their quarterback Derek Devine.
You know, my guess is the defense is going to be coming after the quarterback, doing stunts and blitzes to stop the running game, just try and get that ball back. Give the offense one more opportunity to put some points on the board.
Lane Kiffin and the coaching staff has to get the roster down to 53. A lot of nervous players the next 48 hours. You hate the dreaded coach wants to see and bring your playbook, right, Plunk?
Oh, that's those words that nobody ever wants to hear.
Well, you were just talking about the Raider defense, and they showed it right there.
They're coming after they're doing the blitzes to stop the running game.
Yep.
The quarterback drops back to pass. They're going to come after the quarterback as well.
Josh Shaw makes the tackle.
Good tackle by Josh Shaw there. He gets into the backfield, throws him for a 1-yard loss.
Quentin Moses, I tell you what, he was responsible for that play going back inside because he never relinquished the outside.
2nd down and 11 after the loss of a yard. This should get us to the 2-minute warning, Weeks. And nothing doing there. Seattle's just trying to kill the clock here, and it'll be a 3rd down with just over 2 minutes left. And again, barring a timeout, this will get us to the 2-minute warning. So, with the score 19-14, a 3rd down as the Raiders will try to get their hands on the football when we come back on the Oakland Raiders television network.
2 minutes.
19-14 at the 2-minute warning. And our Panasonic tough hit of the game earlier. And watch right here, Jay Richardson, the draft pick from Ohio State, with our Panasonic tough hit of the game. Right here, it's a 3rd down and 8. The Raiders have 2 timeouts left. So if they can stop them here, they'll get the football back and see if they can make a last-minute drive to win this football game. Weaver, well, he got outside, Plunk, and that's a 1st down. He was able to get to the outside, and now Seattle can run the clock out with 1:55 left.
Yeah, you can't let that happen. You need that ball back. You got to find a way to stop that.
You got to have containment there, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't
let him outside.
That's a cardinal sin against the defense there, to let the back get outside of you. You know, hey, you get upfield, turn it back in, your pursuit makes the play.
So the 3rd and 8 results in a 1st down.
Big 1st down.
Yep. And again, the Raiders have 2 timeouts left. Well, guys, now as you look at the Seahawks keeping on the ground, let's talk a little bit about what we saw in the preseason. I want to start, first of all, with the offensive line. All right, and you see 2, maybe 3 new starters with Jeremy Newberry coming over. You've got Sims at left tackle. You got Gallery at left guard. For me personally, out of the 4 games that we watched, I'm going to put that as number 1 as most impressive, Plunk, because I really thought that was the biggest difference in this preseason from what we saw last year.
I agree with you entirely, Grant. I think they're playing so much better than they did a year ago. And basically, it's, you know, from that center, left guard, left tackle, same players that played a year ago, despite their injuries to Barry Sims. And they're playing so much better. They're giving protection to the quarterback. They're opening up holes for the running backs. They're cutting down on their penalties, although tonight might be an exception. But they've come a long way, and this team has a lot of promise to start this season.
Of course, Cooper Carlisle and Cornell Green, the right side of the line, 2 guys that weren't here last year. Jake Grove, Jeremy Newberry have been competing. That will be a decision that Lane Kiffin will have to make here in the next day or 2. And so you may have 3 new starters. You've got a new offensive line coach in Tom Cable. So that's number 1 that I look at as very impressive for Lane Kiffin. Number 2, George, the maturation process of this defense. And, you know, they are already good. And now you talk about the linebacking core with another year of experience under the belt. You talk about that secondary with another year of experience under the belt. That's the bright spot of this football team.
Oh, without a doubt, it's the strength of this football team. When you look at the team overall, I think you have to think that those young players, the linebackers especially, they're the ones who will make that defense go. Yep. And Kurt Marson is the leader of those linebackers. And I think he and Warren Sapp, between those 2 guys, you got the old and the young, as you say. You know, that brings together your nucleus. That's what's going to make this team go as a defense.
The preseason is over. It's time for the real show a week from Sunday at McAfee Coliseum against the Lions. We'll be right back to wrap it up on the Oakland Raiders television network.
The NFL and